Well, the first half of this term was basically all about the pipelines. It was a big, difficult decision with the Standard Rock issue that came about, and with the travel down to Standard Rock and to meet the other nations and discuss the pipelines. But we also had our issues with the pipelines here within our own soil, in our territories, meeting with all the different other communities of the Iroquois caucus communities, and furthermore getting to meet with the Chippewa of the Thames and the Ontario chiefs of all their elected bodies that we met, and we had a big discussion on creating like different protocols or treaties, or I don't like the word treaties, but protocols or MOUs to start to work forward with the Iroquois caucus, and so we can all be on the same page, to combat this. Because face it, we have the Standing Rock issue, which is only like the one pipeline going through one waterway. We have several pipelines here going through 838 waterways on our territory. So that's become a big major issue for us in trying to stop these pipelines. And on the direction how we're doing it is we're dealing directly with the companies and trying to understand what a pipeline is really about. So that was one of our biggest dealings with, and also with the Supreme Court representation from Kahnawake. We had a great representation from our legal Francis Walsh, which was outstanding. I mean, they gave the Chippewas, I would say, a fighting chance to have that decision in their favor. Well, education has been pretty quiet. We've been, it wasn't as busy, but the tobacco file has been a very contentious and difficult file because we have a lot of personalities that are there. But I mean, we're all working for the same goal, the protection of the community. And when you're creating a law, you got to create a law that is the best to protect the collective. And being there and seeing the effects that the tobacco industry has on our community, it's all like in a great benefit. So my concern is to keep this tobacco industry moving forward for many, many years longer, but to give it more of how can you say, to give it more teeth to move forward and to being legalized and recognized by the outside governments, recognized in our jurisdiction. We had a lot of discussions with the KTA, the board, the people that is represented. I mean, they're just as passionate and very passionate, I must say, and they put a lot of work into it. So we got to the part of completing the law part, but now there's little issues that we need to come and overcome and meet and try to solve those issues, but we're getting there. Well, that's the biggest goal right now. Is I'm hoping to get moving sooner than later. I want to see this start taking the direction that we're going to be able to start enforcing it and working to having it recognized, and that I think we're going to get there. It's just a matter of staying positive, and we'll get that part of that goal set. But the second half is rolling out to be very, very busy, not just for myself but for many other chiefs, because it seems like these files are always getting bigger and growing in many directions. Like for me, we have issues with the Iroquois caucus, like I mentioned about the pipelines. Now we're looking that we just had recently last week at the Iroquois caucus that we created a working group that's going to look at hunting, fishing, harvesting, and the revival of treaties that we're going to bring back to our communities and start working nation to nation and with all other nations to have our treaties, our rights as Native peoples recognized, and try to have them honored. So really, it's what we're doing is to protect our community members and other community members, but me for personally is to protect our community members to keep on practicing what they believe in, harvesting of for food, fish, medicines, because the government's always imposing their provincial regulations upon all First Nations. What we have to do is we have to go beyond that and create something that's going to protect it with nation to nation, all the other First Nations. So hopefully that's myself, Martin, and Dennis we've been tasked along with other representatives from the caucus to work on this group So this is now where we're moving that direction. We're going to create the framework, and we're going to start trying to get to meet the community. And I hope we have a lot of buy-in by the traditional bodies to help support us on this endeavor, because this is going to be it's going to be beneficial to everybody, you know, whether you're traditional or not.
Bobby Patton, you have a call in 101. Bobby Patton. 101.
So, you know, that's the issue that we're facing with. We need to have the buy-in by the community. But like for me, I'm passionate about it, and I want to see this happen, because, you know, we had 7 Mohawk hunters from Akwesasne that were charged in New Brunswick. We had a community member that was charged in, I think it was Montebello. Myself, Dennis, and Martin, we assisted our community member, Devery Bowersfield was his name. And the direction we took him, we led him to a positive direction where he won. Well, the case was withdrawn. To me, it says that they respected our traditional rights of hunting or fishing. I like to sit back and listen to the whole discussion, because to me, it's like, I could say I was like learning. I'm still learning. I'm like new at the political game. Being as a police officer, and you know, you try to get the whole story before you can really comment or put your input into it. I tried to make my input as positive as possible, and try to make it as knowledge as possible. Now that I've been in the game for 4 years, and I feel it's like now I got that confidence where I'm able to roll it out even more, to have more input. Like for myself, I'm a very big on note taking, to get the sense of knowing the situation and what direction it needs to go, and you know, listen to everybody and seeing how to, you know, then from that you can, you know, formulate a better idea and try to present it. And it seems like it's working that way. You know, I can be very vocal, but before being vocal, I like to be patient and make sure I'm not going to make a wrong suggestion or something that's, you know, it could not go the right way. Like the highlights I could say is, well, one is Standing Rock. I mean, how do you explain Standing Rock? But it's like was empowering, humbling. You know, seeing all the First Nations coming together, and it's not just First Nations; it's everybody coming together from across the land, and it's like you meeting them and knowing their fight is what our fight is, and then they're non-native and different tribal people from different parts of the country. We all have the same concerns, the same fight. Another highlight of this year was being involved in working with the elders and creating a special dinner for them. And it wasn't just the elders; it was people that were, you know, needed that extra hand at Christmas time to bring, I guess, the joyous part of it. Then now, like expanding out, meeting with the chiefs of Ontario and being part of a movement against this, trying to stop this pipeline, is it seems like it's growing in a bigger direction, and being a big part of it, you know, it shows that for me is like I'm fighting for my people on where it's supposed to be. To the community, for me, I'm always going to be fighting for my community. You know, it's community at heart. I always had my community at heart. As a police officer, I was always big on community policing, because to me it was, at the time, was keeping our people out of jail and stuff, and trying to give them a better way of life, to be happier and to run a positive life. Now I'm in another direction, that I'm also helping protect what and who we are. So that's where I'm at, and I feel that myself has made me into a bigger life change in many ways. This job, because of the people I work for, my community, because I love my community, but it made me realize, along with fighting and helping my community, it's helped me to heal myself, because you know, I lost so much weight now. I feel healthier. I feel more power, and I want to move forward and trying to gain those extra steps and becoming, I guess, a bigger politician, so I can get in higher places to fight for our people on different levels.